Before cities learned to rise in stone, before coins learned the weight of value, before maps dared to name the world, there was the Souk, not merely a marketplace but a living artery of civilization. At dawn, as the desert air still clung to the night's cool breath, the ancient Souk awakened. Footsteps pressed into dust polished smooth by centuries, canvas awnings unfurled like sails, catching the first light of the sun. The scent of cardamom, frankincense, leather, and hot bread mingled in the air. Here the world gathered. This was where stories were traded as often as goods, where languages collided, where empires whispered before they roared. These are the echoes of the ancient Souk. The earliest Souks were not born of walls or palaces. They emerged where people met necessity, at crossroads of caravans, near wells carved into unforgiving land. Along riverbanks where trade followed the current, long before formal cities, nomads paused their journeys here. Merchants laid out goods upon woven mats, shepherds exchanged wool for grain, hunters traded hides for metal tools. The Souk was neutral ground, a sacred pause in an otherwise dangerous world. Violence was forbidden, weapons were lowered, honor ruled exchange. To break peace in the mark, it was to invite exile or death. From the horizon came the caravans. Camels, tall and patient, moved like shadows across the sand. Their bells rang softly, a sound that meant arrival and opportunity. From the south came frankincense and myrrh, harvested from sacred trees, believed to carry prayers to the heavens. From the east came silk, spices, and jade. From the west came gold, glass, and olive oil. From the north came steel, wine, and parchment. Each caravan brought not just goods, but knowledge. Astronomy from Mesopotamia, mathematics from India, philosophy from Greece, myths from lands unnamed. The Souk became the world's first university where curiosity cost only a conversation. The Souk spoke in many tongues. Arabic merchants debated prices with Greek traders. Persian scholars discussed stars with Egyptian priests. African traders told stories of kingdoms beyond the desert. Shouts echoed through narrow lanes, fresh dates, pure silver, spices from lands beyond the sunrise, but beneath the noise was rhythm. A pulse, negotiation was an art, slow, respectful, deliberate. Prices were not demanded, they were earned, tea was poured, compliments exchanged, trust weighed heavier than coin. To rush a deal was to insult tradition. Within the Souk, entire quarters belonged to crafts. The metal workers hammered glowing iron into blades sharp enough to split silk in midair. The tanners cured hides under the sun, turning raw skin into supple leather. The weavers worked looms that sang with every thread, producing patterns passed down through generations. Each craft guarded its secrets fiercely. A swordsmith's method died with him. A dyer's color existed nowhere else. A jeweler's design marked an era. These artisans did not see themselves as laborers, but as custodians of legacy. Religion and commerce walked hand in hand. Before trade began, prayers were spoken. Weights and measures were checked for fairness. Cheating was not merely illegal, it was sinful. Mosques, temples, and shrines rose near the Souk, reminding all that wealth was temporary, but honor eternal. Judges known as cadis settled disputes on the spot. Their rulings echoed ancient law, fairness above profit. The market was a reflection of divine order or chaos, depending on the people within it. Though often unseen by history's pen, women were vital to the Souk's life. They managed stalls, financed caravans, owned property, and controlled trade networks that stretched across continents. In some cities, entire markets were governed by female merchants whose word carried unquestioned authority. Mothers taught daughters the art of negotiation, widows reinvested fortunes, queens shaped trade routes through policy and alliance. The Souk listened to them, even if history did not. As empires rose, the Souk adapted. Under Roman rule, stone colonnades replaced tents. Under Islamic caliphates, markets expanded into vast urban networks. Under Mongol protection, trade routes stretched safely from China to the Mediterranean. Empires taxed the Souk, but never silenced it, because rulers understood one truth: control the market and you control the world. Not all echoes were peaceful. Thieves lurked in shadows. Counterfeiters tested the careless. Spies exchanged secrets disguised as merchants. Poisoned blades hid among spices. Messages sewn into cloth crossed borders unnoticed. The Souk was alive, and like all living things it held danger, yet it endured. With the rise of sea routes and modern empires, many ancient Souks fell silent. Caravans dwindled, crafts faded, stalls became ruins, but not all echoes died in Marrakech, in Damascus, in Istanbul, in Sana'a. The Souk still breathes, still bargaining, still teaching patience, still reminding the world that commerce once had a soul. Stand in an ancient Souk today and listen closely. Beneath the modern noise, beneath neon signs and smartphones, you will hear it. The bell of a caravan, the voice of a long-gone merchant, the whisper of incense rising to forgotten gods. These are the echoes of humanity learning to meet, to trade, to speak, to trust. The ancient Souk was not just a market. It was civilization learning to breathe together, and its echoes still shape our world.